Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers workout 4 players Thursday. The Steelers have resumed workouts post-cut-down day, with NFL insider Aaron Wilson reporting Thursday that the team worked out offensive lineman Nerden Nwili, defensive ends Kenneth Odumegwu and Adetokunbo Ogundeji, and safety Aiyuk Oyalola. Nwili is a German native who played 5 years in college, spending his last 4 seasons at Nebraska. The 6 feet 4 inches, 315-pound guard started 11 games in 2023, spending all but one at right guard. The other start was at left guard. Nwili went undrafted in 2024 and signed with the New Orleans Saints as a free agent. Odumegwu was assigned to the Green Bay Packers via the International Player Pathway Program in 2023. The Nigerian native didn't play college football, instead training at IMG Academy ahead of his time in the NFL. The 6 feet 6 inches, 259-pound defender spent the 2023 season on the Packers practice squad. Ogundeji was selected by the Atlanta Falcons as a 5th-round pick in the 2021 NFL Draft out of Notre Dame. The 6 feet 4 inches, 268-pound defender has appeared in 32 career NFL games with 27 starts. He spent 2023 on injured reserve, but in 2022, he recorded 42 total tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss. Oyalola is another IPPP player. Born in the UK, he was assigned to the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2022. Prior to that, he played with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the CFL. The 5 feet 11 inches, 213-pound defensive back spent 2023 on the Jaguars practice squad. LB Nick Herbig delivers message to Steelers coaches, "I'd love to do that." Second-year edge rusher Nick Herbig has improved his position on the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart. So, it's possible he could play a lot more during the 2024 season than he did in his rookie campaign. But it's also possible Herbig could play more due to the Steelers deploying 3 outside linebacker sets. The team experimented with that formation a little during training camp. While Herbig argued it's not his decision whether the Steelers use that defensive set in the regular season, he would clearly relish the opportunity. "I'm not sure. That's really out of my jurisdiction," Herbig said while appearing on the Steel Here podcast, via Steelers Depot's Matthew Marksey. "That's really on Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin, the coaches, what they want to do with me. Obviously, I'd love to do that, but we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm just working on my punt protections, figuring out this new kickoff." Herbig currently sits at number 3 on Pittsburgh's outside linebacker depth chart behind TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. A big reason why 3 outside linebacker formations is a possibility for the Steelers is because of how well Herbig played during the preseason. According to Pro Football Focus, Herbig was Pittsburgh's best defensive player in the preseason, earning a 93.1 overall grade. Herbig excelled the most at pressuring quarterbacks, posting a 92.6 pass rushing grade. Herbig did well in more traditional statistics too. He had 4 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 1 hurry, and 3 tackles while playing just 33 snaps. After the team's preseason finale, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin all but said the defense has to find snaps for Herbig. "We're going to find a role for a guy like that, whether he's a starter or not," Tomlin told reporters on August 24. "He's got an opportunity to be significant." Herbig only played 191 defensive snaps last season, but he made the most of those opportunities. He recorded 27 combined tackles, including 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits and 2 forced fumbles. At PFF, Herbig posted an 80.7 overall grade. Again, his best category was the pass rushing grade. Barring injury, the best way for Herbig to play a lot in 2024 or even 2025 may be with 3 outside linebacker sets. That's because the Steelers have Watt and Highsmith signed through next fall. However, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac suggested that could change if Herbig continues to perform like he did in the preseason. I think they need to find a way to get Nick Herbig on the field even more, Dulac wrote in a fan chat on August 27. I think eventually, he forces Alex Highsmith out. Highsmith signed a 4-year, $68 million extension that didn't begin until 2024. So, in all likelihood, the Steelers will have to trade Highsmith to move Herbig into a starting role. If they need to open a spot for someone, it's going to be Highsmith's, not Watt's, wrote Marksy. Eventually, perhaps in 2025, perhaps 2026, perhaps 2027, it's plausible that they could move on from Highsmith to allow Herbig the role and salary he merits. And that's an assumption about him being as good as he looks with full starter reps in the regular season. However, that's a question to be answered down the road. Watt and Highsmith are Pittsburgh's starting edge rushers this season. Herbig will provide depth. If Herbig gets his wish, he will get a chance to play on the field with Watt and Highsmith too. Did trading Diontae Johnson cost Steelers Brandon Aiyuk? The Brandon Aiyuk saga finally ended last night when he agreed to a 4-year, $120 million extension to remain with the San Francisco 49ers. While certain individuals are now comfortable taking a victory lap acting as though this was always the inevitable outcome, the truth is likely far from that. The 49ers and Aiyuk explored numerous variables and contingencies, but ultimately none panned out. The Pittsburgh Steelers came closest to meeting the criteria for both the 49ers and Aiyuk, and they may have been able to seal the deal if not for trading away Diontae Johnson. You see, we already knew that the 49ers, a Super Bowl favorite, wanted a replacement wide receiver for Brandon Aiyuk. If the Steelers didn't trade Diontae Johnson, they would have had one to send back to the 49ers. Instead, the Steelers dealt Johnson to the Panthers for CB Dante Jackson. Reportedly, the 49ers attempted to trade for Courtland Sutton from the Broncos before trading Aiyuk to the Steelers. The Broncos would not agree to such a trade, though, and San Francisco turned back to re-signing Aiyuk instead. If the Steelers had a starting caliber receiver, like Diontae Johnson, to send to the 49ers, this deal may have happened. It's all theoretical at this point, because the ship has sailed. But hypothetically, would you rather have Dante Jackson and a late-round pick or Brandon Aiyuk and lose a second-round pick? The Steelers created a hole they never filled by trading Johnson, but they did close one in the secondary. To be fair to Dante Jackson, he does look like he'll be a solid player, but he's obviously not Aiyuk. The Steelers were reportedly willing to send the 49ers second and third round picks. They were willing to pay Aiyuk nearly $28 million per season. And perhaps they could have done that if they didn't trade Johnson for Jackson. Of course, the Steelers would still need to fill the hole at cornerback that they addressed in the Johnson trade. Corey Trice Jr. and Darius Rush are not exactly guys you want to plan on starting right now. If they didn't trade for Jackson, they may have taken a cornerback in the first or second round. There's always a ripple effect, strengthening one area while weakening another. But one thing we know is the Steelers are a lot weaker at wide receiver without Brandon Aiyuk. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Nikola Vucevic? Leave your opinion in the comments.